Okay, wax resist. We have this in the studio. It can be used for glazing pots. There are two different ways that I'm going to show you how to use it. One is to put it on the base of your pot so that cleanup for glazing is easier, or you don't. Yeah, so mostly it's easier to clean up. The other one will be using it as part of decoration, and that's in the next video. For this one, we're going to use this for glazing a pot. We're going to dip this pot. So there's this lovely little bowl. I'm going to dip it into clear, but I'm going to put wax resist on the bottom so that the glaze doesn't stick there. I will need to wipe it up afterwards, but I'm going to show you how to do it. Wax, it's water. It's a water-soluble wax, which is a weird concept. I don't know how they do it. Ask a chemistry teacher. But same thing. Lids on tight. Fingers over the top. Make sure it's well mixed. There are some paintbrushes specifically for the wax resist because the wax does stain and get into the brushes. So let's not damage more brushes than we need to. There are some specifically for the wax resist. All right, here we go. This I have had spill all over my pants, and it's wax, so it got into my pants and didn't come out in the wash because it resisted all the water. So yeah, it will stain. Be very careful. So I got my little wax resist jar. I got my little bowl. This is a wax brush. There's already wax in the bristles. So I'm going to soak up some. You can see I got a little bit. And you have to be very careful. This will not come out of a pot. If you get a spot of it somewhere, it's there forever. Like, you will not be able to glaze it. You will not be able to carve it off, scrape it off, or anything. It's there. You cannot undo this except for refiring it, which is just a waste. So be very careful when you do it. So I'm going to use this and just go over the spot where I don't want glaze to be. Make sure I'm not dripping all over the pot. Goes on kind of a light green, and then it dries into a darker green. I'm going to go up the side of the pot a little bit too. You just need one thin layer of this. You do not need to layer multiple. You do not need multiple coats. Just one layer works fine. And this will not remain on your pot when you fire it. It will burn off, and there will be no evidence that it was ever here. So I'm just going back over this to make sure I get into all the little dots and bubbles that showed up. I'm going to bring this side up a little more. And I'm just looking for like the height of it on the pot. Sometimes when I'm trying to get that smooth line, I find that I hold my breath so that I'm not adjusting. I'm not moving. So that's got a one layer of wax on it. You should let this set up a little bit, give it a little time to dry or harden before dipping it, so that we don't get any of that wax in the bucket of clay itself. So we'll give that a minute. I'm gonna set it down like that, and in the meantime, I can wash this because I'm finished. Put the lid back on that before anyone knocks it over or spills it. Tight on it. I'll go wash this and give that some time to set up. Okay, so the wax has had a little time to dry. I did wash the brushes, so they're clean, and I put them away. I've got this bucket of glaze right here. This is a clear. I also have this drill with a mixing attachment, and this is really nice to use so you don't have to use the ladle all the time, and I will use this to like mix up clay a little bit, but you should also ladle it every time. Make sure that it's well mixed right before you dip. So give you a little demonstration of how this works. Did pretty well. Since it'd be nice to give that demonstration. So the tongs go like this, and outside and inside. And I'm gonna dip this, kind of swirl it around, make sure the glaze gets everywhere. Hold it there for a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That was about 6 seconds, I think. So I'm just doing this to tap to get like all of that, get any excess off, and then I like to rotate it a little bit for those drips. Soaks in pretty quickly. And I release like that, the tongs. It does soak in pretty quickly, and it's already dry to the touch. There is glaze on the bottom. I know you might be thinking, oh, no, it's got wax, it'll burn off. There's glaze there, that glaze will stay. So if there's anything on the wax, you need to get that off. No cap. It's very easy to do because the wax doesn't let it soak in. So it's very quick to just go bloop, 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 bloop. And you're good. That's all you need to do. But any glaze on that needs to come off. No glaze on the bottom. Serious. You might also on your pot notice that there are some little air bubbles. Those aren't really a big deal. You might notice a few blemishes. I don't know if it's coming through. There's like a blemish kind of there and kind of some stuff there. You can just take, when it dries, your hand lightly. Just kind of go over it. It creates a little powder, kind of smooths those things out. Again, I don't know if this is coming through on the camera. There's a little drip right there. That one is. You can see that drip. You can kind of smooth it out or shave it down a little bit so that it doesn't create a drip on your finished piece, but rather gives you a nice even coating. And there you have a nice glazed bowl. So that's wax resist on the bottom. It helps with things and clean up. The next video, we're gonna look at wax as a way to help decorate with glazing.